like this number. Don't you know he's listening? The 13. He's here.
You have entered the 13, a place where real stories about music, touring, and the beyond are told. Music does something to us. We all experience it in our own way. It can affect our senses, transport us through time, and release emotions. On this podcast, we will talk with people about the power of music and the beyond. What does the beyond mean? Let's find out together. Turn on your metronomes because this time is about to be tracked.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 13. I'm your host, Ryan 13. And today on the show, we have Navel, a band I've known for fucking years upon years. Like, I don't even know when. Okay, you know what? We'll get into this in a little bit. So who would like to take the lead? Because my audience may or may not know who you are. And I'd like everybody to just take a second and kind of talk about the band, talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move forward with the show.
I'm Drew. I'm the singer and bass player for Navel. Hard rock band originated from Charlottesville, Virginia, and we are now in 3 different states and still making music, oddly enough.
Yeah, right on. What states is everybody in?
So I'm out in Los Angeles. Wally is in Frederick, Maryland, and Gree's in Charlottesville, Virginia, where we started.
Right on, man. Okay. Yeah. How did the band start? What was the original idea behind it?
So the band started in high school. That's why it still carries that silly name. I don't know if you watched that YouTube show with that guy who reviews all the mixes all the time.
Okay, maybe
he was reviewing one of our mixes on the songs. I can't remember what it's called, but he was like, kind of a weird band name. Got to work on that, you know. But it's one of those things that we named it when we were freaking 16, you know. So and it just kind of stuck, and we just kept using it over the years. But the 3 of us, once, because we went through many members over the years, different incarnations, and once this trio hit, then it just really stuck, and this was it. Like, this is Navel. These right are my brothers, you know.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, who's next?
I'll save Gree here first. So I'm Wally Worsley. I'm actually Drew's brother, and get guitar and vocals for Navel. And
right on.
Yeah, Drew and I started this in high school with a buddy of ours, and it's I think it was a friend of ours that actually came up with the name, and he had the catchphrase, "The anatomical void" was was the first catchphrase we had, in like the very first stickers we ever printed. But yeah, like Drew said, it just kind of stuck. And there were times when we thought about, wow, should we have another band name, and we just couldn't think of anything. I mean, it's like, we've got this and it works.
It's short and weird and easy to remember, like
absolutely. Yeah, it's great.
And, and easy to misspell at the whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Did they really?
They did.
Yeah.
We're on the market. Yeah, like, fuck yeah, we're playing the whiskey, and we look up and it says Naval. I'm like,
oh fuck yeah. dude, when we played so many shows. We played so many shows. Razor, my band Razor 13. So Razor, everyone wants to spell it like Razor, but we spelled it R-A-Z-R. So it didn't matter where we went or what, if we had any publications, if somebody wrote something about us, it was always spelled wrong.
Right.
So I understand it. Yeah. I can't believe Navel got spelled wrong.
I know.
Well, the real rub is that, to play at the whiskey, especially if you're an out of town band and you've made yourself a trip to LA, and you get there and you're like, all we want to do is play on that stage, see the upstairs, see your name on the marquee, and you've been handing out flyers, essentially handing out garbage to people on Sunset Strip for 3 days, trying to get people to buy tickets enough so that you may not have to have paid to play there. And then all of a sudden your fucking name is wrong on the marquee, and you're like, damn it.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Well, I'm the drummer in the band. I provide some backup vocals. My name's Gree, Gre, and I am the oldest member of the group. I came from a sort of um, emergency situation, I guess. Introduction to the guys. They had Drew and Wally were members of another band at the same time, called Front Butt. That was a six-piece white guy hip hop rock tribute band. So we would play like, Run DMC and Snoop Dogg and like all different of the like 90s rap songs played by a white rock band fronted by two vocalists with wireless mics that would, and we'd wear ridiculous like tracksuit and fake gold chain outfits, and it was dumb as shit and fucking awesome.
Yeah,
But
it was so much
uh,
fun.
but their drummer that was playing with them at the time had sliced his hand while cleaning a fire truck, which was his regular job, a fireman. Go Stewart. But couldn't play a frat party. They called me on the morning of the gig and said, dude, you'll be fine, just get in the van, we'll play you the songs on the way. Because I wasn't a rap music fan. I didn't know what these guys were really doing at the time, but they tutored me on the way to the gig, and we played a frat party, and it ended up being kind of awesome. And pretty much like the next day or the day after, Drew and Wally called me and was like, bro, do you think you want to play in Navel too? And I was like, at that point, I was going through like early into a divorce. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll do whatever in the hell I can to, play drums and be like social.
Yeah.
And that was, we got together in the spot and played through some of their songs and listened to some of the ideas. And it was like, dude, you guys are coming from a place that I am very familiar with. This is like, growing up, I'm a little older than they are. So 3-piece bands, I was like, okay, Rush, number one, because I'm in that era. And then obviously King's X. We was like, we're doing lush harmonies.
There.
We're doing like these grooves, and not everything is in 4/4. And then there's the sort of focus on musicality and song structure. Uh, so everything tied together, and we became very close very fast and started to expand on their ideas a little bit into making something that was, our first record together. We all are still super proud of, and I listen back to it frequently, and I'm like, bro, it took these 3 people to make this sound,
Right.
and that's where we are, still
Right
trying to make that sound. God, 20 years later.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Dude, I fucking love it, man. I'm so thankful you guys came on, by the way. This is like, and it's on, the middle of the week. I know everyone's got things to do and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and
It's Tuesday.
chatting
I ain't
with
got
me.
no job. I ain't got shit to do.
I ain't got shit to do.
You got to get a kid on school.
There's that.
That's something. That's a job.
Yes, it is.
Started a little late because I drove an hour to get to a 20-minute swim class to drive an hour back in Los Angeles traffic.
So that was a 5-mile drive.
5 miles, yeah.
I mean, dude, I know LA, and I was watching something from SNL the other day. It was fucking hilarious. I don't know if they do it anymore, but it was called The Californians. And
oh yeah, the family.
Yeah, and the skit's all like, well, how do I get there? And they're like, oh, well, you're gonna take the 5, and they did the whole, and they tell you exactly how to get there.
Yep.
And I mean, hell, I live in Houston, so Houston is an hour away from Houston, so I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how we all met originally back in the day for me. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like I remember being at Doug Pennick's house in Katy, Texas, a long time ago. And were you guys having? Did you guys come to Doug's house? Or
Wish we came to Doug's house. I don't think we.
so then how did?
No.
So here's my question: is why do I think that?
Mm.
Well, if you do, it is extremely fortunate because we were on the lips of our heroes.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So we've only known each other from those fucking shows. I could have
Yeah.
sworn you
But
guys
because
Yeah.
we
recorded
did
at
a
Doug's house.
we did a lot of them like back to back to back. So
I remember
Oh, it was
those.
it was a short span of our best times ever, you know?
Okay.
And that's the thing is like because it was so like, you know, within such a short frame, when we saw the crew and the guys, it was like, oh hey, there you are again. It was fresh in the mind. So I man, if it made an impact like that, job done.
Well,
Yeah.
Doug always had just fucking nothing but bands coming through his house and Pound Hound Studios and stuff. So I guess that's why I thought like I'd met you guys first there.
right.
I guess it was somebody else, but like, all right, well, cool. Now that
No,
memory's squashed.
that would
Now
have
I
been
wonder who
awesome.
that band was.
some
Find
other some other
Our
three-piece group of
Some other three-piece
Yeah.
group coming to Pound Hound
Doppelgangers.
Find
Studios
them.
doing stuff.
You'll make their day.
Okay, well, good. So the first, okay, so then the first time we met,
Probably-
it was
Probably
Go
at
ahead.
Jack's in Springfield, Virginia. You remember
Yep.
Jack's?
is that small? Was that place that had the tiny stage?
No,
It was pretty decent
Not
size.
to us, you know.
Yeah.
Not to us.
No,
No,
I
it
mean
was
like
a
this.
good
This would
size
have been
thing.
tiny to y'all. There's a place over there on the East Coast, and all of the East Coast mixes together for me. But like there was a place over there. I felt like it was in Virginia or something, but like it was
Must have been Pennsylvania.
the stage was like this tall. You know, it was like they were playing and like the band
Right.
couldn't hardly fit on it. I had to bring one.
It's terrible.
That's one of Doug's cabs with the Razor 13 logo on it, but
That's awesome.
I had to take one of those and put it on there, and it hung halfway off of the damn thing. I had to put stuff under
going
like a
back and
cinder
forth.
block underneath it so it wouldn't.
You're right.
So how many shows did you guys do with them?
We did. It had to have been like 5 or 6 or something because we every time they came to Jack's, we would get the opening slot.
I thought
then
it
I
was.
know that
I
we
thought
did
it was
one in
4
Baltimore.
with us, 4 with us, and then one
Maybe.
with oh God, what's Brian
Six
Craddock's
Shot.
group?
Six
Six
shot.
shot.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it was 4 at Jack's, and then we did Baltimore,
Oh shit, we did. Yeah. So it
Thunderdome
was.
or whatever that place was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
Fucking
did
Baltimore.
Charlottesville. I got you guys down in Charlottesville.
That's right. We did Charlottesville. So
Yeah,
Dude,
so
that's
like
so
6 or 7 opening.
Golly.
But we did.
Yeah.
before
What a
Doug
time.
joined
What a
before
time.
Doug joined Razor 13, we had a different lead singer, and we opened up for King's X once in Austin at Antone's, and it was with our original lead singer, and we didn't do that great. but I just remember being so intimidated because their crowd was sitting there and they didn't care about us, and we were a fledgling band that got on the gig because we had I don't know. We had an in with somebody at Antone's, I guess is how that worked. Because you can never you can't call Doug up and say, "Hey, can you get me on the bill?" Because he's going to say, "Well, you got to get with the promoter," and that's what he says every single time.
Right. They're
And so
professional.
professional. And so somehow we got on this thing, and we got up there and played, and there's just
Oh man,
everyone's just like,
Yeah,
"What
like-
is going on?" And
Right.
we were super new, and so it was one of those Oh, hey, look at this.
what is that?
It says J-Rab.
J-Rab, what's up?
Quality
Fantastic.
dude right there.
He's an awesome guy, and he told me to tell you guys what's up anyway when I talked to him earlier this morning. I was
Right
like, dude,
on.
I'm having Navel on. He was like, no fucking way. Tell those guys I said what's up. I was like, okay. That might be why he's calling, because he knows I'm talking.
Probably.
right.
Bro, that was the one guy that when we like hand a CD to, seemed the most genuinely excited to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
It's like
yeah.
most of the dudes, you're like, oh, here, take a CD, and they're like, oh, cool, thanks. And it's like you almost see them putting it in the trash. You know, J Rab was like, oh, fuck yeah, man, cool, I appreciate that. And I'm like, he probably listened to it that night. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
We would
that's the,
listen. We would
that's
listen
the
to
way I
everything
felt
that
about
night.
that dude.
If somebody handed us CDs, we'd go into the back of the tour bus, the band included, and like we'd be like Doug or Ty or whoever, whatever stack of CDs they got, they're like, all right, and then we'd light up some fucking joints or get some drinks and start popping them in the thing and listen. We'd listen to everybody. I always thought that was. I don't know if other bands do that, but that's my only real experience with a band who was touring with King's X, a real professional band,
Right.
and I was like, oh, they must all do that. And so some years later, when I had my own CD, I went to go see one of my favorite bands, Stabbing Western, actually wearing the shirt right now, and met up with the singer who I've met up with several times, and was like, hey, I'm in this band, I got Doug Pennick from King's X. He's like, oh yeah, tell Doug to call me. And
Oh,
he didn't know who the fuck Doug was. He didn't know who King's X was. He was fucking with me.
Yeah.
I figured that out later.
that's
And then
great.
when I started figuring that out, I was like, I bet he just threw my CD in the trash. He's a super nice guy. He went into a pile. Somebody ended up with it.
Dude,
Right,
it's a
right.
terrible feeling. That's how I felt when we were like trying to promote ourselves on Sunset. Like,
Yeah.
we're in a band, we're from Virginia, we're playing at, fucking there it goes on the sidewalk. It was just like
Uh,
nobody has time for that.
yeah. Like,
And I
here's a
just like,
flyer. They're like, cool.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
right, like I don't even want to write my grocery list on the back of this. I'm just gonna put it right there. It's just
That's
awful.
in that same run of gigs when we were out in LA. We were playing this place, Molly Malone's. I don't know if you ever played there with any of your bands. Pretty well known place out here.
J-Rab's the person who remembers all of these places. Apparently my memory is shit. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it was on point, but apparently it's not, because everyone will come back and be like, dude, you don't remember that? I'd be like, fuck.
But
That's
we were
me. That's me.
we were doing this gig at Molly Malone's and we were promoting it, and we showed up to the club early just to check it out. And while we're there, Jonathan Davis rolls up and
shit.
Oh man.
and he pulls right up to the front where there's no parking. It's a red zone, right? And he just like almost halfway on the sidewalk, parks his car right there, gets out and goes into Molly Malone's to drink a beer. So we're like,
No
holy shit,
way.
Jonathan Davis,
But
because
do
this
you
was
remember
the
when
height of their fame, And
but
so
he pulled up on the parking meter that like the roots had grown in, and when they opened the passenger door, it was like skirk on the sidewalk. You remember that shit?
yeah,
It was like this fucking like smooth as shit emerald green fucking like either Camaro or
like
Mustang,
a
I don't know,
GTO
Chevy or
or something
Ford,
like that.
but
Yeah.
it was tits on a boar. And then he fucking opened the passenger door and just like skirt right on the fucking mound of concrete by this parking meter. And neither of them fucking flinched. They just went inside. And we were outside like, what the fuck, dude? That's Jonathan Davis. And Drew's like, I'm going in.
I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey man, what's up? We're playing a gig here tonight." And I give him the flyer. And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And he actually asked what the band name was, and kind of we had like back and forth for about 5-10 minutes, and then he was pretty much like, "Okay, get the fuck out of here and let me drink my beer." But
Oh, yeah.
he was a pretty nice guy. And that was
Dude,
just fun. There was
I was
nobody else there, like no one.
right. And now is that the gig we got canceled from because we played too much in LA that night
No,
or
no,
that week?
that was a different one.
We didn't even know there was a rule,
I
We're
didn't know.
fucking,
I still don't know. I've only played in LA personally with a band once. I mean, I've been there with King's X plenty of times, but my band's only played LA like one, maybe two times. And so we weren't able to play enough. So I need to hear about this rule.
all right. So we're from Virginia
Yeah.
and we just wanted to play the whiskey.
Yeah.
Go to LA. We had some friends out there that got us, this and this gig. And then we found some friends through another mutual friend that we could sleep on their floor as long as we didn't like flush our urine. Uh, and so we go out there and we start playing these shows. And then there's one club that figured out that we had played more than like 2 times in LA proper in the same week. And they canceled us saying, you can't play 3 clubs in LA in a week.
Wow.
And we were like, what the fuck? So we're out there and we're like, the only way that we can stay out here is to play shows. And the girl that we knew from Charlottesville offered us a second night at her club. And so we went out there and played with this amazing like rap band, which was a weird bill, but they were so fucking cool. And it was like, a drummer, bass player, guitar player, and maybe keyboard or whatever, but it was just a rap group, and they were awesome dudes, a wonderful show. And we were able to stay afloat in LA by not sitting around twiddling our thumbs and wasting everything that we'd tried to save to be there.
All the money.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, so just my quick story, my only story that I remember about LA for my own personal band was we shared a tour bus with a band called Six Past Hell, and we drove from Texas up and out to LA, playing shows the whole way and then playing shows the whole way back. And when we got to LA, they were like, hey, you guys got to wash your tour bus. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? We don't have, how much is that going to fucking cost? Like, well, you can't enter LA without having a clean tour bus. Like, okay. So then we dropped this money on this, and then you're spending money on diesel, and there was zero. In fact, we went into debt, and thank God for our guitar player's father, who's a doctor, and fucking gave us some money because we weren't making any. And it was 2006. And again, before Doug joined the band. And dude, when we played the Gig, I don't even know if that club's still around, but we were so happy to be like, in LA, right near Sunset, and playing the Gig. And we went to go do this show, and Six Past Hell plays. They've got a few people. They're like, crowd's kind of packed, but we're headlining for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And we go out, we step out, there's a curtain. This guy comes on and announces, and he's like, from Houston, Texas, and all the fog starts creeping in, and I'm like, oh dude, this is happening. And in my 23-year-old brain, I'm like, okay, there's record execs from Elektra here.
Right.
All these Capitol Records is here. All these people are here. This is going to be fucking
with
fantastic.
Hot checks in their pocket.
Right, just ready to sign some Texas metal. This is going to be so great. From Houston, Texas, Razor 13. The curtain drops. The guitar player goes to hit it, and old boy forgot to change the battery in his pedal, and there was there was nothing. We missed the moment. And I looked out there at the 5 people that were in the audience, and they just started shaking their heads and started walking out the door.
Yeah.
And then we played for the bartenders, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Well,
funny because all these bands outside of LA are always like, we want to play LA, we want to play LA, we want to play Sunset. All the bands in LA are like, never play in LA, don't play LA, go out, leave, don't never play here.
It's funny how it's oh, excuse me. It's funny how the scene has changed so much out there. Like, everyone's still out there hustling, from what I realize and sort of notice, but I think it's almost like you have to know more people out there to get things done than maybe it used to be. I don't know, but in Houston, you can just call up somewhere and say, hey, we want to play a show, and they'll find a slot for you and slap you in there with some other local band, and you can go play a show. But I think it's at least in that particular area of LA it might be a little bit more
well,
niche,
it's got
close.
it's got its reputation,
right?
And the thing about it, when we went out there and played, we met these guys from another band that at the time, I believe it was 2004 maybe, and Yellow Card was
Oh yeah.
just like really big at that moment because the Blink 182, the pop punk thing had like really settled in, and it was the SoCal sound. And Yellow Card had a fucking violin, and they were like, "What the fuck, a violin?" and and so they were doing the Vans tour, and these other guys in a band called Mike's Brother, I believe it was, had played a couple of shows with us down there, and those dudes were top notch, man. They were great, and they kept saying, "Oh man, can't wait for the whiskey! Can't wait for the whiskey because this is going to be the Vans after party. It's going to be the Vans tour after party. Yellow Card's going to be there. All their people are going to be there." And then we get there and we're like fucking pumped, man. We're like, yeah. And then fucking lights come up and there's like 36 people. It's like, oh man. Like, but the cool thing is, and I'm not ashamed, they fucking VHS record your performance at the whiskey and they will sell it to you. And I will buy it.
And I will buy it.
One of my friends said it best. He's like, the whiskey is the Disneyland for bands because you're going to pay all your money to be there and play there because you're going to ride the ride. You're going to buy the merch.
Yep.
And we did.
And it's a proud fucking VHS too, bro. I got it downstairs still. I got a little fucking 13-inch tube TV that's got a VHS player built into it that I can pull out, plug in, and watch my fucking glory days.
Dude,
cheers to it.
All right, yeah, dude. Cheers to it, man. Fuck yeah. I love that, dude. I think that's super fucking fantastic. One of my favorite things about the whiskey, I never played it, but King's X did, and one of my favorite things is everything that's ever happened terribly for a tech happened at the whiskey. For me,
right?
Not necessarily for me. Maybe the guitar tech for Ty at the time, but like everything went down. Everything was going down. It was cool. Wow. I was just slightly seasoned enough to understand Doug's rig enough to be able to get everything back up and going. But Ty's guitar tech at the time, that was his first tour with Ty, so his gear and all his setup was super new, and I don't know anything about Ty's gear, or at least not then. And so I'm like running over. The crowd's getting restless. That place is packed. People are starting to boo.
Oh no!
Oh man!
I'm like, dude, they're booing us. Talking to the guitar tech. This was after Shithead was no longer. He was working with Sick Puppies, I think, at the time, and I was like, this means we got to fucking figure this out. Like, so we started unplugging plugging things back in. Like, I was like, did you see Blue Smoke? Blue Smoke is bad. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Put your tongue on it.
Yeah. If that's something we need to do, we need to go to the bus and replace this rack unit or this or whatever. And eventually, whatever, after like 45 minutes after the opener, which I think was Mardo, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, we finally got going, and then the crowd shut up and everything was fine. But they did start throwing beer bottles at us right towards the end. I mean, like fucking physical bottles.
Damn.
Like we were like batting them away.
Roadhouse.
Dude, it was fucking Roadhouse.
Yeah, that's wire.
So you guys making new music? Have you made new music? Did you guys release a new album? Or are you going to release a new album?
We're in the process of working on it. We've released 3 singles so far.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we're just
you guys sent me some of them.
I sent you 4 tunes, yeah.
Is there a chance I could drop like little pieces of them in here, or do you just want me to hold on to them for myself?
No,
drop them
in. Yeah, drop them.
Fuck sure. Yeah. I'm gonna put right here.
everything's alright. Flooded with the memories of all those good times. Thank you, lost soul bleeding for the fallen. I'll see you again when it's all over. The pain, it makes me sober. The demons won't take over. You were gone in a minute. Now there's darkness in the sky. Searching for a light to take me out of my mind. Hold on, we will not forget you. Hold strong, we will not forget you. Thank you, lost soul bleeding for the fallen. I'll see you again, my friend, when it's all over. The pain, it makes me sober. The demons won't take over. Thank you, lost soul bleeding for the fallen. Lost soul bleeding for the fallen. Lost soul bleeding for the fallen. Lost soul bleeding for the fallen.
Oh,
And then we'll edit that in later.
yeah.
Wow, that was a banger, dude.
So fucking good, dude. Holy fuck.
Oh, thanks so much. So the starting to make new music thing kind of happened during the pandemic. And I think this happened with a lot of bands that hadn't been playing for a long time. You know, we all had all this extra time on our hands. I just started writing a ton of songs. And I
Yeah.
was like, damn, these are fucking Navel songs, you know. And I started sending the stuff to Wally and Gree, and they got on board, and it just went from there and created this whole new record that we've got going on. And
So let's talk about y'all being all apart from each other and making new music. So were you sending demos obviously over the internet, right? Like just kind of making stuff, and then
Yeah.
how did that process work? What do you? And I'm a gear whore, if you can't tell from the stuff behind me, but like
Yeah.
I love talking about gear. It's so. What was like? Yeah, what was so we'll start Drew, we'll start with you. So you're writing these songs, you're like, these are Navel songs, this works. So what were you using to record and send over? What was your DAW?
I'm recording the Pro Tools
Okay.
with a Revolution 2x2, and then using I'm such a King's X head. Everything, all my bass tracks are recorded direct through Doug's pedal.
Through the Tech 21.
Yeah, the Tech 21.
Sans
That
amp.
thing is freaking amazing, though. It sounds it's one of the best pedals I've ever played through.
And I fucking want one.
You don't have one?
I don't have one. And I was like, Doug, can you give me the bro deal? And he was like, literally, the bro deal is the same deal like you're gonna get at the store. I was like,
Right.
okay, so I guess I'll just go to the store. But I haven't bought one yet.
No, yeah, it's well worth it. I mean, you can take that pedal into a club and play a gig with it with nothing else, and it'll sound freaking amazing.
That's what you use the whole time in LA.
Yeah, actually, really funny story. The gig we played in Charlottesville with King's X. It was the first time that Doug finally came in and watched the sound check, and he was standing right in front of me, smiling and grooving along, and he was like, dude, I love your tone. What are you doing to get that tone? And I was using the Sans Amp Tech 21 on the King's X setting. So
yes.
it was kind of funny that,
Yeah, that's
yes,
familiar to you.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
it's the throat sound I'm using there, sir.
Back when you guys were opening up for them, that was when Doug was still using that fucking massive 2 rack mounts that you would bring on stage of full on just bullshit. And the only reason and it's not bullshit because it's what created his sound. And like, dude, the stuff that was going on behind that rack to a new kid, and maybe not when you guys opened up for him, but the few years before when I had just started working for him, it was a maze of death. You know, it was
Oh,
like
God.
if something went out, you're like, okay. It was like looking at phone wires, you know, you're like, unplug, okay, let's plug
Yeah.
this in over here. Let's do this.
And the reality is it could have been done through a little teeny metal box.
Yeah. And now after going to places like Atlanta and playing Smith's Old Bar, where I had to fucking carry those 2 rack units up and
Right.
Yeah.
8 of these cabinets up
Right.
all by myself with no stops, because the stairs go up 2 flights
Oh,
with no stop.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Smith's Old Bar is not the place.
No,
That is
and
not the place.
I would carry that shit up there, and then all of a sudden, you know, now I'm like watching his new tech, and he's all like placing little tiny small bass amps that he has, you know, the little 4x4s,
Yeah.
and then this like one
Like
little
20
rack
pounds.
unit and a pedal, and he's done.
Screw you, dude.
And he's probably getting paid more than I was getting paid.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure he was. Yeah.
I'm
And
really
not,
happy for
not
all.
only that, but he had unlimited access to the coked out fangirls,
Oh yeah.
which who doesn't want, you know?
I mean, they're fun. It was a fun time. I got stories, and we could go down that, and we might do that off air. But
Right.
I'm married now. I don't want to tell them on there.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know.
Yeah. That's true too.
So
Our wives will be listening to this podcast later.
that's right. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said edit that out. Yeah,
I may or may not. Sometimes leaving some of the stuff in is good, but if you want me to, I'll take it out. I will say this though, like, so well, let me rephrase that. Let me jump back in before I get all, like I said, I'll start going off course, and so you guys might have to auto correct me. Bring me back.
Right.
So back to the recording process. So when you were done, you were just like, what, recorded some drums, some riffs, some what,
Yeah,
and then
I would write full on songs. I would demo out the
shit.
entire song and play everything on it, and then just send it to them. And then they would say, you know, how about you move this piece here, move that piece here, try this in the vocals, and then I'd send it back. And then we would schedule some studio time for Gree at a real studio, and he'd go in and lay down the drums and then send them back, and then we'd retrack everything over his drums.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So pretty much just doing it from the house. I mean, besides Gree having to go to the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That-
awesome.
I feel like a lot of records these days are being made that way. I mean, it's just so much cheaper, you know.
I joined a what I call an internet band. I mean, it's casual. It's not, there's nothing, we're not trying to get famous or whatever. We're just dudes trying to write some music together, and being able to do whatever I want from here. You know, I just have a little Scarlett Focusrite.
I'm using.
Yeah, I just love that little thing, and it gets everything. I mean, that's what what I'm using to talk to you guys right now, and it's super fantastic, super awesome. You have so many plugins that you can use now to make it sound like you're in a real room, but I'm in here. You know,
I bought my daughter the setup because she's first year as a musical theater major in college.
Okay, right on.
And one of her assignments in high school in 11th grade, her women's ensemble or whatever the class, it was a music class. And they said, make an arrangement of a pop tune, you know, do a little vocal arrangement and record it or write it, and we'll sing it in class, or just write a song, like write a little version or whatever. And my kid ended up writing an entire pop tune, like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, outro. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. That's great. She taught herself the chords on the piano and wrote the melody and lyrics, and it meant something. So I got with a friend of mine who I was playing in a cover band with, who had a little music recording setup.
Yeah.
And we went out there, recorded her playing the piano and singing, and then we programmed a little drum part to it. And I came home, and for the next week I figured out how to play bass on it. Went back out there, I played bass on it, and we turned it in as a father-daughter class assignment.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this amazing. Like, I it's almost cerebralis, like it's just this sort of very simplified, broke down piano vocal. And I was like, all right, I need you to do this. I bought her, went on Guitar Center, was like, oh, Focusrite, like got all this shit and ordered it, got it to the house, put it upstairs in the bedroom. I was like, baby, you got everything you need. You got your computer on your desk, you got your piano, you got your fucking the setup comes with software. You got everything that you
Right.
need. It's still in the fucking boxes.
Ah.
But now it's for you to use it.
Right.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I maybe I may just sell the shit. No, I can't do that. She'll probably appreciate it now, but she for sure would rather be on TikTok than on the fucking like music writing platform. She's a performer,
Yeah.
maybe not a writer.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
dude, that's all right. You know what? And that TikTok is a little. I recently got the podcast on it, and going and posting. If you post the right thing, like I just post all, like you guys will all be on TikTok at some point here after this interview, with one clip that's going to just be funny. I'll probably only do about 30 seconds of it, and
Right.
I'll hashtag it just right, and then it either
Your
gets
commercial.
yeah, it's something to bring people to the website, or bring
Right.
people to the audio. I have way more people listening than people watching on YouTube. But when you go to these reels on Facebook or Instagram, and then on whatever TikTok is, excuse me, those things, because people have no attention span. So they just want to watch. So I post
That's the
3
truth, man.
from every episode. I post 3 things I think somebody might want to watch, and it either gets 200 views or a couple thousand, or one of them had 5,000 the other day, and I'm like, I'm brand new. I'm starting. This is like episode 42 or something, somewhere around there. So I'm still trying to figure the whole thing out, and the algorithm of fucking YouTube makes no sense to me. And if you say the word COVID, it fucking cancels you. Like there's a whole bunch of weird stuff that you got to figure out. But there's something to this TikTok thing. And I don't know if the numbers are inflated, like because there's just that many bots watching you, or is it that many people actually getting their eyes on you?
I think there's that many people actually on it now. I mean, it's changed the music industry completely. Like a record label won't even look at you now unless you have like 100,000 followers on TikTok. That's like one of their first questions. How many TikTok followers do you have?
Oh my God.
It's such a different game than back.
Well,
crazy.
and also TikTok is, and I don't want to get too deep and try to but TikTok, Chinese app.
Sure.
But in China, you are only allowed to be on TikTok for a certain amount of hours.
Oh,
so in America, you're unlimited. You can just die on that shit. But in China, they know, and they're like, no, we're not going to do this to our people. So they put a limit on it. So the amount of time that a Chinese person has on that platform is very, very, very much more sacred than the American. So when they're doing their shit, they're doing it on their time, not on just boredom,
Right.
So when they get on there, it's like the shit that is worthwhile, they're putting their time and energy into. So when you see something that has that many views, it's because people in China don't have that much time for the dumb shit.
Yeah, there's
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're just not gonna fucking spend their like. I got 2 hours today.
yeah.
I'm definitely not dealing with this dumb shit today.
Dude,
So-
when I first opened, I opened up TikTok a long time ago when it used to be called music.ly. It was something different in 2017 or 18. So I have two accounts. One's the one I did back in 2017 when it was music.ly, and I did a bunch of like King's X sing-overs, and I like was one of those guys like singing to the songs and looking fucking retarded and shit. And then I quit because I don't know, it felt weird. They didn't have as many regulations on it, and it felt strange that I had like younger kids like liking my videos. And I didn't like it. Even though I wasn't doing anything weird or bad, I was just like, who the fuck is this?
You didn't have your dick out or nothing.
No, I didn't have my dick out or nothing. I was like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Like, why is he liking my shit? Does he know who the Deftones are? What the fuck? Because I just singing these songs. And so I quit. Then it changed to TikTok, and then I bring the 13 podcast on it. And now I understand this. A clever title that's short as shit and all the exact right hashtags which I didn't understand until very recently myself. Like on all of a sudden, all of these apparently hashtags work, but they have to be the right one with the right title. And then there's the third element, which is what they're seeing first. So like whatever, like that's why hot chicks are fucking dominating TikTok right now. It's like this is the best time in the world, in the history of the world to be a hot chick on TikTok. You could make billions of dollars doing stuff over there. But so like I had a guy on talking about Phil Anselmo from Pantera, and he talked about a rare demo tape, and that one got I'm not going to get famous off of it, but compared to some of my other TikToks, this one got a lot of attention, is still getting a lot of attention. And it's because the first thing the guy says out of his mouth is Phil Anselmo from Pantera and a lot of other bands. And like that caught whoever just, okay, I'm going to stay here for the 30 seconds you have. And then along with the hashtags, so the hashtags put it in the right place. And then the title was Phil Anselmo hands rare demo to fan. And versus me just saying, I talked to Wally yesterday and we had a great time.
Right.
It's
right.
like you have to be very specific with who you're talking to, what the content is about. I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. Like I'm an 80s kid. I just don't understand anything.
I haven't even jumped on it yet.
If me saying alpaca fur makes a great menstrual pad, will help your headline, your hashtags.
We're doing it. This is live. This will be live. This is going on TikTok.
Alpaca hair. Alpaca fur. It let it grow for 2 seasons. You got to let it really get thick, and then just pack it in the drawers, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm going to tell my wife this. And I'm going to go buy an alpaca.
You get the alpaca first.
Let it grow for 2 seasons.
Surprise.
Hey, check it out. We're no longer spending money on this bullshit. We've spent enough money on this alpaca. We fed it the right amount of hair nutrition supplements.
Exactly. And if she argues, you can actually go back to the Old Testament and you'd be like, yo, you're supposed to stay outside anyway. Would you rather the alpaca fur or just go outside for your menstruation?
You're sleeping in the barn or the alpaca.
Right.
Fur. That's it. That's all you got.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Right. This has gone into an awesome direction. I love talking to you guys. This is so much fun. Okay. So
I told you that's why I may need to be edited. You know what I'm saying? Like this is where I go.
I'm gonna call J-Reb back. You guys want to talk to J-Reb real quick?
Fuck yeah.
Like I figure I could put him on speakerphone for 2 seconds and just have him say hi.
What's up?
Okay, perfect. All right, cool. So J-Reb, what's up to Navel?
What's going on, guys? How you been?
Oh, been great. How about you?
Great, man. I'm in Texas. I hear you guys are spread out all over the U.S. like COVID.
Yes, sir. That is a correct analogy right there.
No, man, miss you guys.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, it's
Brother.
good to hear from you, man. Been a long time.
Yeah, it's.
Mm.
I need to get all your numbers again. I think I only have Drew's.
Uh-huh.
Mine might have changed since then too. I'll have to get you the new one.
We'll just give it to Ryan and I'll get it from him.
Sounds good.
We'll send you all out links, brother.
Mine changed also. I'll just give mine to him and have him give it to you guys.
There you go.
So before like when me and J-Rab talked this morning, and I was like, hey, so I'm talking to Navel, like, do you want to like just jump in and come in as a surprise guest, like in the middle of this? And then apparently that didn't work. So like when the link wasn't working for these guys either, J-Rab. So is that what happened?
Yeah, it was on my end.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wrong.
So that's why I figured I'd pull the phone out. I was like, well, we'll surprise guest a little bit.
Right.
That's awesome.
All right, man. Well, I'm going
That
to
is
jump back
awesome.
into this and finish this off. I just wanted you to be able to have a chance to say what's up to everybody.
Yeah, good to hear your voice, man.
Great to hear
Good
from
to talk to you, man.
And, get my number from Ryan and then just text me and then I'll put you guys in and I'll get back with you.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Let's do it.
Right on, brother.
All right, rock on. Be safe.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Put your faith in words and you walked away out the door so fast, no time to waste, no reason for you to go. And why you left, I don't wanna know. You said you had to take this trip all alone, but you left us standing there on our own. Yeah, you've been gone so long. Yeah, we don't know where you've gone. Pick up the pieces that you left behind and keep on going till the end of time. So confused and a little scared, we found peace in our own despair. Moved around and ended up somewhere. Didn't know how to come up for air. Staring at the sky, wonder where you are. Hope that you come back, we wish upon a star. Yeah, you left us hanging on. So we don't know where to call home. Searching for something that you never find. What made you think it's best to leave us behind? Yeah, you've been gone so long. Yeah, we don't know where you've gone. Pick up the pieces that you left behind and keep on going till the end of time. Yeah, you've been gone so long. Yeah, we don't know where you've gone. Pick up the pieces that you left behind and keep on going till the end of time. Yeah, you've been gone so long. Yeah, we don't know where you've gone. Pick up the pieces that you left behind and keep on going till the end of time.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, before we go, first of all, would you guys like to come back on again?
Would love to.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, man.
I would like.
I
I
didn't get
love
to nerd out on my guitar rig.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff we need to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
I need to do it on like a. Well, like, so since we have this span of time between us, we got to figure out something to where we can actually like nerd out. You know,
Yeah.
like it actually like have more than an hour conversation. Because I as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna go to bed.
Right.
Bro, I've already gone to bed. Like
Woke back up.
it's really weird.
It's like
Set your
some
alarm.
weird fucking dream, you know, like I'm talking to
Right,
people.
right.
I actually, so I do this thing now where I like at lunchtime, I go and I take a nap in the truck. I don't know, maybe it's 40. I don't know what it is, but like I love taking a nap in the truck. It's my favorite thing. I go to the truck, I turn on sports radio, and I fall asleep to whatever. And today I fell asleep and actually started dreaming, and I started dreaming about people from work, at work, like big bosses coming to my plant that I work at, and me like shaking their hand and getting ready. And like when I got up all groggy and got out, I was like, oh crap, I gotta go. So and so's here and blah blah blah. And those motherfuckers weren't there. I just dreamt
Right,
it.
it's
You
just
know?
real.
It's like,
Yeah, that ain't sleeping, man. That ain't sleeping.
it's
And
night
I,
terrors
and,
in the day.
and Mitch Hedberg. I don't know if you're familiar
I
with
fuck
Mitch
yeah, I
Hedberg.
know. Man, God rest his soul.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so when he said something about like you know, went to sleep and had a dream about making a fucking like uh what was it, like a Boy Scout derby car with my landlord or some
Yeah.
shit like that. You know, it's not sleeping, and you wake up and you feel like you've done shit for
Yeah.
the entire time you're sleeping, and you're more tired and stressed out than when you went to sleep.
Absolutely.
And that is something that you're 40, love you. I'm about to be 50. It doesn't get better.
Oh, good. Thanks.
It happens. It happens more than you want it to, you know. And I will go to sleep and I'll like feel like I'm good, you know, like I've had a good day, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna wake up feeling great, and then I'll have fucking dreams that I'm either working all night, or
Yeah.
I'll have the dream that my wife thinks that I've cheated on her, or and like I'm trying to explain myself all fucking night, you know, and it just they come out of fucking nowhere and they're unexplainable, and you just wait till your wife wakes up and has the dream that you cheated on her,
Oh,
and you have to spend
Sorry.
3 fucking days explaining that it was just her dream.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
that
it's already happened. I already know.
oh
It happens
wow,
a lot.
it's wild, man.
And they're mad at you for days, and you
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
Nope, nope. And no matter how many breakfasts or dinners you cook, it doesn't matter. They have to just like will it off of their existence, and all you can do in the meantime is just apologize. Like, I'm sorry that I cheated in your dream. I'm sorry that I looked at your sister. You know, whatever it was that happened. So you know, like it okay. I'm the asshole.
There's a place here where I live in Kingwood, Texas, and it's a crawfish place, and they just started advertising. They got this big crawfish on the side of it, and it says, "Crawfish hotter than your wife's sister."
Oh,
I haven't tried
You
it
know?
yet, but man, that's pretty good advertisement.
you
Yeah,
bet.
They put that on a t-shirt.
You go, man, it must be hot.
Yeah. It's
so,
delicious.
It's delicious. Don't tell anybody. All right, guys. So you have new music that I've already shared one clip, and then we're gonna share at least one more at the end, and you guys are gonna come back on soon, and we're gonna talk more. But before I let you guys go, I asked this of everybody, and answer in your own way. Have you ever seen a UFO? Have you ever seen a ghost? And do you know Bigfoot?
I'd say
Everyone-
no to Bigfoot.
No to Bigfoot.
I don't know Bigfoot. I feel like I see a UFO almost every night when I'm out looking at the sky in Los Angeles because there's so many fucking satellites and all kinds of shit
Oh,
flying
yeah.
around.
Anybody got any ghost stories or anything?
Oh, I got a good. Yes, I do have a good ghost story.
Okay,
But it's not. It's going to end differently.
that's
So I
okay.
was out on tour with a buddy of mine, and we stayed at. Actually, it was the when I worked at the music store. It was like there was the DR string rep that I talked to on the phone all the time, and we
Got
wound
some
up.
DR strings right there. Sorry,
Yeah.
just put some on.
Bling.
So we wound up, we played up in New York and we wound up staying in his house. Like he
Okay.
was willing to let us come stay at his house, but he wasn't there, but his roommates were there. And so they got us drunk and high and we
Yeah.
partied. And so me and the singer for this group this is Will Thomas' story.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Wound
Okay.
up having to share a bed, so we wound
That
up
happens.
sleeping next to each other. So so they told us that the house was haunted and that like someone had previously hung themselves over the garage or something in the house. So in the middle of the night, I just laughed in my sleep and scared the shit out of my buddy. He was like, "Oh my god!" So that's the closest thing to a ghost story I got.
Okay, right on, man.
So I can't honestly, Bigfoot. I would love to see proof that Bigfoot is still real.
Right.
I
right.
believe that I believe that Bigfoot as a sort of weird ape human, whatever.
Sure.
Like, yeah, probably
Yeah, it happens
was.
at some time, maybe. Yeah.
Like, probably was. But Mitch Hedberg said he was blurry.
Oh yeah.
That's why
They're always
that's why
blurry.
all the photographs of him are blurry.
Yeah.
Is because he was just blurry.
He's an interdimensional being, man. He's barely here.
Yeah. So, but the ghost thing, I don't know that I've had ghost experience or necessarily any alien experience, but I've definitely seen some shit in the horizon that did not look like it belonged in the horizon.
Sure.
And I don't think that any reasonable person can explain away some of the shit that other people think that they've seen. You know, if I talk to you and you say that you saw something, who am I to say you didn't see that?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen some shit that I can't describe by, a metric or a similarity that humans know,
Yeah.
So
100%.
what was it? Fuck if I know. Was it alien? Fuck if I know. Was it unexplained, unidentified? Abso-fucking-lutely.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think, if you watch all those true detective shows and stuff and they go up to somebody who is a witness of a crime and they're like, yeah, they're like the worst. They're the worst. The people who saw something happen, everything's described differently. The guy was 6'2". He was really 5'2". Like there's
Right.
always just bad evidence about stuff. And like, I know I've seen a few weird things in the sky. I fucking don't know if they were alien. It was probably drones. I don't know. Who knows what it was? I saw some weird stuff. 1997. I'm not going to go into the full story, but in 1997, I saw a light rise from the north and it looked like the sun and it was about midnight and it didn't come down like a meteor. It went up and it lit up and it wasn't just me. It was me and my friend, Chad McKinney. And I remember we were walking through a cow field and smoking a cigarette and like, being bad kids or whatever at midnight. And Men in Black had just come out or something. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I took off running. And he was like, what is that? I was like, it's fucking aliens. Let's go. And we took off running through this cow field, stepping in shit the whole way. And he finally stops and, was like, he finally stops again. And he's like, no, dude, seriously, like, what is it? I'm like, I'm fucking telling you, it's fucking aliens. But I mean, it could have been a meteor. It just looked weird. It came out, whatever. And then there's a Bigfoot story I have. I to all my listeners, they've already fucking heard me spout this shit out, so I'll just give the short version. Me and my buddy John Paul were walking through the woods once, and something on the other side of a bayou, which is like a bigger river, whatever you guys know, like the sun was, or the moon was out, and something like looked like it pulled the trees back, the bushes back, and stepped out. Now I can't it could have been a cow. We were in a cow field, and it could have just been moving it, and we saw things differently because it was far away. Again, it was blurry. No evidence of that it was anything else, but your mind at 17 is like, fuck, that's Bigfoot, and
Yeah, right.
that. And then I think I have one ghost story, but I also think it was a dream. I slept on a friend's couch once, woke up, and have you guys ever woken up and you're still kind of asleep, like just immediately woken up, and you can still kind of see like, it's not, maybe not see your dream, but still see weird shit that's slowly fading,
Yeah.
like as you're waking up. So that was happening to me. It was still dark, and I looked down this hallway, and it looked like something was walking down the hallway, but it faded away. And it faded away in that same way that when you've just freshly woken up from something, that whatever your brain trying to fully wake up is fading away. So that, I mean, that could, I don't have any definitive evidence
Or
of
in the exact Eli Roth way of like making you believe that something was there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So dudes like that don't come up with shit on accident. You know what I'm saying? Like mugs that make ghost stories make it based upon their fucking, they dive deep and they read about people's interactions.
Yeah.
And they look at the shit that has happened to folks, and they're like, like, how do I make this even more realistic and scary is by making the scenes that more people talk about from either that interlucid state of waking up, and actually putting that on film to where you're like, what the fuck? That's exactly what I saw. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
that's what makes scary. And honestly, I'm allergic to horror movies. I hate them.
Oh my God.
I don't watch them ever. And honestly, I will change the channel on a fucking trailer for a horror movie
I've done that.
because
Been
of the
known to do that. Yeah.
because of the fucking, as soon as I hear the fucking violins, I last or
Run
next
away!
or whatever. It's the music on them is always the same, and it always triggers that shit in me that's like, I'm gonna fucking have nightmares tonight. This is how much of a pussy I am. I watch my wife. I my wife. Like, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. She's a woman, and she's 8 years younger than I am. So she read the Twilight novels.
Oh shit.
Don't judge. Don't judge.
I'm
don't
not judging. My wife did
so,
too.
so when the movies came out, we watched the first one together, and I was like, this is fucking shit, this dude sparkles.
I was going to say, sparkly vampire motherfucker. That sparkly vampire piece of shit became Batman. I'm still pissed off about that.
I know. I don't know. Makes sense.
So, but on to the next movie where the fucking brown dude, I don't remember what he is, like the Indian guy that turned into a werewolf, right?
Yeah.
So we got people that all of a sudden like have fangs, and then we got brown people that turn into fucking like gigantic ass dogs. And I watched that one, and I go to sleep that night and I have fucking nightmares.
Twilight.
fucking nightmares about vampires and werewolves because my imagination is so much more powerful than whatever in the fuck else people are trying to feed me.
Absolutely.
That's all it took is like, bro, you said that you wouldn't do vampires and werewolves anymore, and now we're gonna fuck you up. And I just fucking like, it was over. I woke up the next morning, well, in the middle of the
This
night,
angle
like,
for you, Pete Green, is perfect because you look like you're in the Blair Witch Project right now.
oh, bro,
Totally.
because I'm outside on the deck, like,
But
wondering who's coming at me.
eyes staring behind you.
No
Crazy
shit,
eyes.
there's fucking like Jody from fucking Amityville Horror.
Dude.
But no, it was like my imagination is too powerful for horror movies, because if Twilight Part 2 can give me nightmares, what the fuck is the the modern horror movie going to do to me? I don't even watch the fucking Walking Dead, man. I don't watch commercials for that shit, you know?
I remember watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 at a birthday party when I was in like the 4th grade, and I don't think I closed my eyes in the shower for like 15 years after that. I would get soap in them all the time, still keep them open. It's just, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. There was a
Shower scene.
15 years ago or so. There was a thing called A Haunting in Connecticut, and the commercial. I've never seen the movie. The commercial opened up a phobia that I didn't know I had, and I didn't really think I had phobias. Like maybe your usual ones, like as you get older. I don't know about you guys, but as I've gotten older,
Was that the bed one? The
I don't
bed
know.
one?
All I
She was in
remember.
the bed and the fucking, like, she flew up.
No, I don't know. Maybe, but like all I remember is this one guy was getting like shit written all over his arms, and it looked real fucked up, like bugs had been in his arms or something. And so there's this phobia called like tryptophobia or something like that. And if you Google it, it's the fear of small circles. Now, I'm not afraid of small circles. I can look at a beehive. I can look at sponges. That shit doesn't fuck me up. That's no big deal. But it's when you look at, oh, I'm starting to itch just thinking about it. Like when you look at it and it's in someone's skin, like insects have injected themselves into your skin, and it's almost like a colony or something. And so like it makes, for whatever reason, when I think about it, my head starts itching.
Yeah.
And I don't know
no bueno.
I don't know what kind of phobia that is, but how did I get all fucked up?
What is that? What is that, Wally?
Not metal.
Not
metal.
Upside down, not metal.
Dude, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate your time. I want to have you guys back on. I'd love to have you on for a bigger, longer conversation, because obviously we could talk all fucking night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to put links to everything Navel and the guys, if you want me to, in the description below. And yeah, check out their new tunes. When can you expect, besides the 3 that you've released, any more?
We're knee deep in them at the moment.
Yeah, we're
working
knee deep in it. Yeah, we're deep in it.
Okay, so at some point soon.
While, but we'll keep sprinkling out, singles as we go, just to keep people interested,
gotta get the drums laid down acoustically first, and that's the first step and the biggest hurdle.
Okay.
Is because before we get the drums laid down, we got to get the arrangements right. And through text message and everything else that we've been working through, making sure that the actual, from top to bottom, is what we want, so that I can go in and play the track along with the stem tracks to a click, and make sure that we've got the good foundation that we're going to be happy with at the end. Yeah, we've done a lot of these songs so far, and the ones that we want to do, we're still in the stages of dissecting and paring down to make sure that they're, A, good songs, but B, not 6-minute songs because they've got so many parts.
Yeah.
So it's just making sure that we got the basis for what is going to be a Navel track, which things have changed, man. We've changed the way that we're exploring new sounds on this record from the record that we did back in, I think, 2007.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a different thing. There's going to be some similarities, but at the same time,
We're not
we
the
don't
same
have
dudes to some
yeah,
degree.
and we don't have the confines of we're trying to play this live to sell this record. We're
Right.
who cares if we have 3 guitar tracks? Who cares if we've got loops in the drum tracks? And
Yeah.
so we're doing shit that we didn't do before because we're not trying to replicate it on a stage right now. We have no. I'm 50 years old, sitting at home in Charlottesville, and all I've got to do is go to the studio for, a 8-hour session and lay down 3 drum tracks. Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And I don't care if I have to go in and do overdubs, or if we want some different sounding shit that takes 8 hands to do, may as well.
Yeah, just get that. What is big fucking drum still a thing? BFGs, like you just fucking put in Neil Peart's kit and just be whatever. Everything sounds great now.
Yeah.
Dude,
Exactly.
I've tuned my drums so low that at this point, they all sound like bass drums, and that's just wonderful. There's a section in the song that Wally wrote that is the bridge section, and it's a song that's coming up being mixed and mastered now, that there's just so many just cannon shots going off that I listen to it on the headphones and I'm like, oh my God, this is like 4 fucking pirate ships going into battle. Just and that is, to me, the BFG. It's just shit sounding so big that it almost makes you sick in your stomach if you drank too many beers. Like your shit wants to foam.
Yeah. I'm going to end with this, but because you're talking about stuff like that, I had a guy named Mark Ollie. He's an archaeologist, but he's also a drummer. He lives over in the UK. He's a drummer for a band called Copperworm. He's written several books, but I had him on the show and I was telling him about the Stabbing Westward show I had just gone and seen. During that show, the lead singer was kind of like eyeballing the drum kit, and the drum kit was a hybrid, right? So he had electronic pads in there, and he was trying to figure out where the drummer that night had put the bass drop. And he finally figured it out by when he knew that this one song at the very end, they were going to hit the boom at the very end. So he's singing his last note, and instead of screaming at the crowd, he like literally turns around and looks at the drummer and sees which one he hits. And then now he knows. So for the rest of the night, he obnoxiously grabbed a drumstick and would just constantly walk over there in the middle of the song and just fucking hit the bass.
Hit that 808 sample.
Yeah. And it just,
I love it.
And the Mark Ollie guy, he was like, well, in like the 70s and early 80s, he was like, when they were trying to figure all this out, it's like, if they had a certain dB, it made everyone in the front row shit themselves.
The brown note.
The brown note. It was the brown note. I was like, that's fucking
I love prank stuff like that happens in shows. Like,
yeah, it's just a lot of fun, dude. That's why playing music's so much fun. You get to have a lot of fun. You get to be yourself. You get to literally express yourself to everyone and just have a great time and work through stuff when you're writing the tunes.
Yeah,
we did a gig with Power Man 5000.
Yeah,
and
I didn't even remember that
backstage. The backstage area, and it was at Jack's. It was upstairs. I don't know if you remember that. So if you're backstage, you can look down on the stage and watch the show. So they're up there while we're playing, and they're flicking us off, and they like put porn on their computer and like showing us, and they're like like that the whole time we're playing, just trying to fuck us up. It was freaking hilarious.
That's awesome, dude. What a great story.
Yeah, it was freaking great.
Well, the crazy thing is
we're like in the middle of the song looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Because they just kept doing it. They did not stop the whole like 50-minute set.
that like I don't remember so much of this shit because, well, I mean, many reasons. There is a lot of potential marijuana, but beside that, I was already a father when we started. Well, soon after we started, and a lot of these shows that we played, I would drive to and I would set up and I would play, and as soon as we were done, I would have to drive straight home so that I could get to work the next morning. And there were few, not few, but a lot of the shows that we played, Drew and Wally would stay and do the merch and meet people and do the networking and everything else. And I was already on the way home,
right?
Because I had to work, I actually had to work Monday through Saturday in those days. And it was not the type of job that you could readily take off, So it was normal for us, if we played a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for me to work that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'd have to like drive and meet them places. It was and Wally worked in the same shopping center that I did, and he rarely had to miss work himself. So it was a lot of times that we went to work at 9 o'clock on a whatever morning, that we didn't get in until 6 the morning before. So
didn't we come back from CBGB's from New York?
Dude,
we drove from CBGB's home to work, right?
Oh my god,
it's like 6 hours
after
7-hour
watching
drive.
a dude's fucking van get hitched in 30 seconds. Dude, the New York City tow, dude, they came up, and I mean, it was like even their tow trucks are blacked out. Like, you don't even know what they look like. They fucking pulled up, backed up, hitched, and were gone within like 20 seconds. And we were like, yo, dude, isn't that your van? Weren't you just loading your gear into that van? Like, it was wild.
You can't.
And Wally was like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, who cares about whose van that was? And then we had to wait so long to get in the tunnel. We get on our way back home. We stop at a gas station. We get fucking moldy ass Hot Pockets and hit a hotel room. And then next thing you know, we're at fucking work.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
8 more
Dude,
hours
you guys have been fucking awesome. I want to do this again. I want to do this again really soon, because this is
absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Everybody, this has been Navel and Navel on the 13 podcast. You can check out all their stuff in the links below, and they'll be back on soon. And we're going to have some more crazy stuff, and they got new music coming out, and it's going to be fucking awesome. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. Stick around for a second after I hit the stop record button, and we'll talk some more.
All right. Appreciate you.
Later, everybody.
Thank you.